Hey, man, this is Coach Troy Taylor with Paul Medley, the man from Seoul. This is Life Lessons. Today's life lesson is be yourself. And I don't know how to be anything else, but Paul Medley has been traveling all around. I've been traveling all around to Miami, Fort Collins, Colorado. And we were just sitting here talking about a coach that just tell me, you don't have to say the school, but just tell everybody a little bit about this guy you met that you were so impressed with.
Okay, what? Okay, yeah, he's an offense coordinator, quarterback coach, and he's a new coach at a new. He moved from a smaller division to a bigger school,
Yeah.
and I had the privilege of sitting down with him and him showing his offense and how he attacks defenses, and um it's a 15-20 minute session, and he's got three quarterbacks in there. He's asking a question. One of them's my son, and what was extremely impressive about it is in 15 minutes, a fifth grader could understand how, at a collegiate level, Division One, how a team attacks a defense. And I mean, everyone understood it. I mean, anyone, if you didn't even know, if it was your first day watching football film, he was able to explain to everyone in that room, like stop, including parents, that it's all about it's all about taking your best and getting him on their worst as many times as possible. And they call it putting someone in a washing machine, because they it's kind of Belichickian, where they study the film on the defense and they pick that guy who's being covered by the other 10,
Yeah,
because not
JCFT.
all 11 at every level, even the NFL, not all 11 are all pro
Yeah.
on any team. There's always a weaker person. And watching him explain how they attacked that weak person and made him move to where he's vulnerable, and putting him in a washing machine where he doesn't know what to do, it was incredible. This school, they're going to be successful this year. Trust me. They're going to be extremely successful just
So
because they know how to move.
you have inside information. You have
Yes,
inside
the guys know
information,
how to
brother.
move chess pieces, and I can't wait to see if I'm right, because I saw no stopping this offense at all, just because of the people running it. It's not the players. It is the players, but the people running it know how to use their players. That's very important too. As you were saying so eloquently put, the best high school teams win because they have the best players. But there's a fine line between having the best players and having good coaches with the best players. That makes it even more, you know.
If you have the best players, you got to make it. I mean, you have to have a system.
You make the
You have to have a
playoffs.
system. You have to have a system. You have
Yes.
to have something that everybody believes in and that everybody can execute. And
Yes.
that's what's good with Dinwiddie is Coach Mills has his offense and defensive system. And I coach the players. I coach technique. I coach effort. I coach running to the ball, man. And all that fancy stuff, when the ball snaps, I mean, it goes fast, man. And I guess your training takes over. MK Life Lessons is back. Yay. Yes, we are. We are back and better than ever. And I think the man from Seoul has froze up, but he will be back. All right, be yourself. All right, so what does that mean? To be yourself. I don't know what stages all of y'all are in. Some of y'all are young. You're in middle school, you're in high school, you're in college. Yeah, man. I mean, everything you're saying, I'm agreeing with. because you got the smartest people in the world. They can take something very complex and explain it to a third grader. I mean, that's what Einstein said.
Yes.
That's why
this
you're
guy
smart.
He was uncanny. He was uncanny with that, you know. And again, like,
but that's life. But that's life too. I mean, if you're going to teach someone how to go through life or how to be yourself, you have to make it where a third grader would understand it. It's like Mr. Rogers. You know, what was Mr. Rogers doing? Mr. Rogers was teaching lessons. He was teaching life, you know. So you agree that this guy's so smart, he understands if you're up here and everybody else is down here, no one will ever understand you. So he's got to dumb it down. He's got to make it simple. He's got to understand it so much that it's easy. It's easy, right?
Yes. I mean, and again, different strokes for different folks. Because I mean, I did sit in a room where I understood physically what's going on, but the language was on an elite level. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
the language of calling plays. Yeah,
they're using big words.
Yeah,
and
and I couldn't follow it unless I was watching it, and I was actually watching it, so I knew. Okay, I know what's going on, but that's a lot of information.
You know, the coaches that are the most successful, in my opinion, are the ones who love their players, the ones that get to know their players. Because, like, I've visited a lot of different colleges, and, you know, some colleges I didn't get to know the head coach. I didn't get to know any of the linemen. But at another school, I remember them all.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that crazy? Like, I spent the same time, and the reason is because everything trickles down, man. It starts at the top. And when the head coach invites you into his staff meeting and says, "Hey, sit down," and doesn't even know me, like, he gets to know me, I get to know him. He gets to know his players get to know him. And that leads to success, man. You might not win every game, but you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, have you met anybody, that coach? Like, if that guy that you're talking about, I mean, if he can do that with what he can do with X's and O's, I mean, dude, he's gonna fly. Like, he's gonna take off, dude.
Yeah. And you know, it just so happened to be, you know, I mean, this is their first spring with these players, and he was the one guy when I'm first getting there. I'm just boom, they're stretching. I'm watching. Who's the first? What guy sticks out to me the most? It's the guy that's walking up and down the stretching line of over 85, 90 players, and he's tapping them on the helmet, and he looks at them and he says something, and he moves to the next guy.
That's love. That's acknowledging your existence.
And it was that guy in the end, because that was my first impression. I didn't know what coach he was at the time. I just knew he was a coach, and he's going up and down. Then he ended up being the OC QB guy, and I'm like,
well, dude, I'm gonna be going up there and visiting him. I'm just gonna spend the whole day with him.
And I would love to see if we agree on things, because,
bro, I know we agree. We agree, because, like, the truth is the truth, and if you see it, I'm gonna see it, because the truth doesn't change. And, like, who that guy is, being himself, and his self was. I guess we're getting into psychology here, which I don't even understand psychology. I ain't smart enough. But yourself is all the people that have poured into you and have made you who you are. You know, your parents, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, your grandpa, your coaches. I mean, this guy basically he's taken all these different influences at these different schools that he's been. And if one of them was Mississippi State, he coached with Mike Leach. And, Mike Leach, he knew himself. And he was
Yeah, you know who
okay
else
with
knew himself? And you talk about doing it with the best players win. Where I would disagree with that is getting an opportunity. Thank God I got the opportunity to play against Chippy Chapel when I was in high school.
Yes.
Because that guy and his team, they
were
like you said, it's believing in something. It was just a system. Plug and play.
Yes.
Do it his way, or again, if they once in a while they had a special player, meaning a special running back, and that makes that system just explode.
Mm-hmm.
But if they didn't have that guy, it still works.
Yeah. Yeah, it does work because it's all about execution. It's all about believing. I mean, it's really, the more that I listen to all these guys talk about football, really, it's about the offense keeping their shoulders square and the defense keeping their shoulders square. And as soon as somebody turns, you're really getting on their flank. Now, I don't know military history at all.
Yes,
but I know when they had battles and they used to go head to head, whoever got on the guy's flank won.
Yes.
And that's football.
Mm-hmm.
And, I guess you just got to stay square. You got to stay square, on the level, and I guess that's really be yourself. So when you're a young coach or you're an adolescent, you're really, you don't even know who you are. You're trying to figure it out. So what advice would you give a kid who's in middle school, high school, about being yourself? Like, they don't even know who their self is. So what advice would you give them, Paul?
That's a great question. or
maybe you can feed off of me. You want to feed off of me?
Go ahead.
I'm just thinking, be yourself is if you're a kid, the only thing you know is your mom and your dad and the role models in your life. So I guess it's like your allegory of your cave. It's where you come from. It's what you've seen. And when kids act out and kids get kicked out of school, I'm talking about elementary school or anything really, when babies don't cry for no reason. There's a reason that kids act out. And it's because of something they've seen and done or has been done to them. And be yourself is the people that love you, the people that are the positive role models. That's who you need to be emulating. I mean, I guess that's hard to tell kids that might not have somebody around them that's a good role model, but everybody does, man. Everybody's got somebody that loves them. If it's a grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, what do you think from what I'm saying?
It's a respect thing. It's a respect of oneself, meaning don't be someone you're not, and it's a respect of others, meaning respect other people's perspectives and their being, because those people become. It's like a tapestry of a quilt. Everyone you come in contact with becomes part of your fabric, and they make you who you are. Because you take things that they do and you like, and you add it to your repertoire, and then you take things you don't like and you don't add it to your repertoire. So it's respecting yourself, meaning, learning who you are first of all.
While Paul froze up, I heard somebody say life is lived from the inside out. Life is lived from the inside out, not the outside in. If you worry about the outside first, you're going to have troubles. But when you live life from the inside out, I guess you know truth. You know what's most important. We're in a deep subject here. Be yourself. And it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to be from a bad neighborhood. It's okay if things haven't always gone your way. It's okay, if you live in a great neighborhood. One thing I've been thinking about is like blue collar and white collar, the working class and the upper class. Just because you're blue collar doesn't mean you're good. And just because you're white collar doesn't mean you're bad. I used to say some of the best people live in the worst neighborhoods, and some of the worst people live in the best neighborhoods. But just because you live in a bad neighborhood don't mean you're good or bad. And just because you live in a good neighborhood doesn't mean you're good or bad. And really, as human beings, we have a little bit of both in us. So, I guess really knowing yourself is knowing your good side and your bad side. And why you feel the way you feel. They say that's emotional intelligence. I don't have too much of the other intelligence, IQ, but emotional intelligence. I pride myself on emotional intelligence because I like to understand. I like to feel like I can understand my emotions and why I feel the way I do. And I try to see things from other people's perspectives. I try to learn, man. Like I'm learning about the age of Aquarius and the Aquarian conspiracy and the Tavistock Institute and this is the quote of the day. Stop worrying about their opinions. The only person you need to impress is yourself. Amen. MK. Stop worrying about their opinions. Yeah, if you go around and try to please everybody, there ain't no way you're going to please everybody. There's going to be people that don't like you just because they don't like you. And it is what it is. And you can't worry about others. You got to do what's right. Do your best. Treat people how you want to be treated. Stop worrying about their opinions. The only person you need to impress is yourself. There's an old saying. It isn't what I think I am. It isn't what you think I am. It's what I think you think I am. I always ask my students and kids, players, like, have you ever walked into a store and the people didn't think you were going to buy anything? Or have you ever walked into a store and the people thought you was going to steal something? Have you ever known that a teacher didn't like you? Like, have you ever you have testing today. Okay. You're going to kill it. Do your best. Do your best. All right. That's all we ask is do your best. Test. I tell a story when I was a kid. I remember in middle school, we take these Iowa tests. I guess they were like SOL tests. I guess they were to see how smart we were. And I'd be taking the test. I'd be looking at the other person next to me's paper. Oh, for 10, they got A. Okay. Well, they're pretty smart. They live in a nice neighborhood. What they got for 11? 11, they got B. I'd be filling in my answers. I was too stupid to realize that the questions and the answers were different. When I was a kid and we were taking these Iowa tests or standardized tests, I didn't even know that the people next to me had different questions and different answers, and I was copying off them. But then when I went to college, I took a math test and I killed it, and they put me in upper level math. I ain't never even done upper level math. So like, just do your best. Do your best. Treat people how you want to be treated. Do what's right. So, I mean, yeah, we've done 20 minutes. Paul, we lost him. Coach Bald will be back on Wednesday. We're going to have a shortened version today, but we love you, Totem Pole Nation. Y'all are the best. Have a great day. You got a great day for it. There's no right way to do it.